at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on and behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for an hour. So unlike other shows, we throw out a link here, and this is a conversation. So you're welcome to join in and be part of a conversation, the evolution of 2A, or text or use the text chat out there and participate out there. So we got some cat out there saying hello, good evening. Oh, Homer. No, I know who that is. Good evening. And then we got Barbecue out there, and DJ was out there earlier. So we'll see if anybody shows up tonight. It is Friday. Let's see. I've been putting the stuff that's been going on in the comments of the video. So screen share again and go look at that. So if you go down to the comments down here of the video, you can see all kinds of stuff. I don't even know if I had this updated. I think I watched a couple other things since I edited this last. So we got other stuff we can chat about as well. So let's see. We had Crump was on earlier, and he's trying to have the guy from Operation Backbone on, and I guess he's had problems with the time zones and stuff. People on the East Coast, they're oblivious to time zones. They just don't care. They have no regard. So the rest of us have to live in their wake. So poor guy's trying to deal with East Coast time zones, and that's always difficult. So Crump just started going rogue and just started saying stuff. And then they were chatting or whatever, and it was being a pain in the butt to try to express an opinion or a thought, in the comments. So he also is not afeared, and he puts a link to his chat out there. So I used it, and I went in there and we talked for a bit. So that was another opportunity to kind of hone the concept, I think, hone my position a little bit in front of people who, I don't think they don't. Well, we just disagree on the route maybe or the path, but people that don't necessarily have the same opinions and things as I got. How come this link didn't work right? I don't know how to paste a link anymore, so I guess I have to fix this real quick. Why isn't this letting me fix this? That's weird. Let me go over here and make sure that what account I'm logged into. That makes no sense. Necessarily have the same opinions and things. Oh, it's because I'm not logged into. How come this link didn't work right? I don't know how to paste a link. Need to have it playing. So now I can edit this. And the way with YouTube is, if you don't put the https://, the WWW isn't important, but I do it because I'm old and it's habit or whatever. But this is addressing. So that's like putting in a phone number without an area code or an address without a street address. Although this is more like I don't know. This is more of like putting the address in the wrong place on the envelope maybe. But anyway, it was missing some stuff. So now I added it. And when I click save and figure out how the hell to go back to the video, this is addressing. So that's like putting in a boom. Now this will be a link. And that's the point, because we're trying to create reciprocal links. We're trying to create cross-linking between different channels. And although this channel isn't big, the Daily Gun Show channel ain't all that big, it don't matter because it's the number of links. Big links are great, but no one link is going to solve the world or nothing. So putting in any link is better than not wasting the time or not spending the time. All right, so then I'm yawning all the time. 2A bores me now. I'm bored by 2A. It's not exciting enough for me. There's not enough stuff going on in 2A to keep me interested. I'm falling asleep. Oh, snap. That keeps me interested. That's the only sale we've made today. So that means it's the only sale we've made all week. So that means 1/4 of December will be $19.11. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's almost like making $1 a day. Let's see. So we got the Fireside chats we talked about. We got the weekly bullet, which was their weekly summary. Got to see the whole thing. I only sleeping 3 hours tonight. So I was a little tired when I was watching it, but it was pretty decent. I don't know who this Dan Easterday, the Easter Day guy. For some reason, he seems familiar, but I don't know if I've seen him in an interview or what. Anyway, I think that was an hour or more. It was pretty good. Let's see. So I also got to throw some ideas out in the text chat there, which is always extremely difficult in a text chat anywhere, but with people who ain't super savvy. So as much crap and grief as I give them, Polite Society and Paul and them for being old and taking forever, they're catching up fast. So I got to start eating my hat pretty soon. They're getting as savvy as you can get. So they were behind the 8 ball, but they ain't waiting back there. Great examples too. If you could look at them with that angle and go back and look at some of their old stuff, their rate of like production increase or whatever, like their rate of awareness is fast. Anyway, weekly bullet was today. Look forward to one of those every single day. We got early watch. I didn't watch it, but I like to post it because I like the concept, but I was asleep. So I have to sleep 3 hours sometimes. I guess that's why I'm yawning. Drama Queens, that's Yankee. So, as much as I liked about Jared's the other day, I like about Yankees here. Like, these guys all have great points. Not all. These two particular guys happen to have very good points. And then they happen to have a couple of things I don't necessarily agree with all the time. But the stuff that I don't agree with isn't necessarily points or direction as much as just the way they present them or whatever. So, anyway, I sent an email to Yankee because some of the stuff he said about a third of the way in, I forget, at the beginning of the video, and then I commented, and then he went in a whole different direction. And I'm like, shit, that's what I get for commenting halfway through a video on whatever he's saying at the beginning. Like, that happens with anybody's video. If you comment at the beginning of a video and then this person starts talking about something else, then it sounds like you really like turkey gravy when maybe you hate turkey gravy, So let's see. Anyway, I'm interested to see if Yankee's interested in trying to do something. We haven't done anything as a project ever, or at least in a long ass time that I can't remember. So yeah, we'll see if that happens. Snap, got a second one. Thank you. I'm trying to be a mope, but that's the facts of life. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, appreciate it. Let's see. So then we had former ATF agents. 60% of guns in America don't have a single part that is subject to federal law. So let's go look at this one.
Let's all do our part to slow the spread of COVID-19.
I was half wondering if I should even put a link to this channel. I'm skeptical about it. So has anybody seen the channel Lead Therapy before? I'm not going to link to it, and I'm probably going to kill this link because I don't like the same way that I will go out of my way to link to something that I like. I'm not interested in linking to shit I'm not trying to support. So I'm looking for feedback on that one. I didn't listen to the whole video, but the channel came out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on with the logarithm, but I'm finding new channels that are both pissing me off and giving me more encouragement than I've had in a long time. And then we got the truth about gun control from a World War II survivor. This guy is pretty much even worse. So I don't know if this guy is what the hell this guy is. So Tampa Carey. Has anybody known about this guy? Let's go look at this video. Is good.
What's up?
From 2016. Can't get this channel. I do not understand this channel. So that's a couple of them. But then I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to do this over here because it's my business. I'm going to go into my history, and I'm going to bring out this other channel that I seen right now. Boom, this channel.
What's up, guys? SGC, back with a controversial video. Has to be talked about. I think it's time.
Boom, anybody seen Cash EDC before? This guy's my new YouTube hero. So there's that one that I'm adding to the list. Oh, and then Clover's over there in the pocket of Big Gear websites. So I'll probably include that video. Look at this, how he has ads in front of his videos. He must be making money. And then Liberty Doll had a video earlier. I think I need to link to that one because I only have so much time to link. What do I got to do? Now I have to go to my other account, so I'm going to switch to another account over here. I don't know if I've been doing that in front of you people or not, but I'm going to do it privately now. And then go back over here.
What's up, guys?
Okay, so now I need to go back to
Has to be talked about.
here.
I think it's time.
Yeah. And then grab that link. I'm going to put him above that former
I want to
ATF
thank all my
underneath the A.
subs, all the new subs, all of our veterans, and first responders on the channel for
Look at this guy.
supporting
This
my
guy's like
channel.
24.
Appreciate you guys.
He's got
Thank
it.
you so much.
Production down. He knows what he's doing.
Subscribe. This channel's for
Doesn't look like
everybody,
he's wasting a bunch of
especially
effort to do it either.
if you're a advocate, gun enthusiast, just want to be involved in the community on YouTube.
Right? This is a 9-minute. If only thing, you can tell he ain't playing games either because 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Anybody who's playing games would have made that 10 minutes to hit the logarithm. So listen to this part.
To help support their families if they did catch the felony for not. At the end of the day, they're not going to act on that just of emotion. They is prepared. So I'm really interested in knowing
Can you hear this?
what kind of 2A supporters is my subscribers. Are you guys going to comply? Are you guys going to go 100% full-fledged? I'm a 2A advocate. I'm not complying. I hope you guys enjoy this video.
I like to hear that kind of crap. So he's not inciting violence or nothing, but he's definitely asking his viewers to ask real questions and not just look at it like another superficial hobby. Is that the way to say it? And then I guess I forgot to put Clover's in here, so I'll go back. So what I'm doing is I'm hitting edit there. And then I can come over here and go into the middle of the duck backstage here. And then I'll cram Clover on top of Yankee. Did I already copy this? And then I got to copy this and put it over here. And then get his title. And then put that there. And then go down here. And now it goes away. Oh, there's barbecue. That's how you bring barbecue in. Sorry about that. Edge on the back burner, so to speak, on the rack. On the smoking rack, so to speak. I don't know what to call it. I don't know that many barbecue lingo, so I'm just making shit up. All right, so I think that's it. That was the stuff that I had in my list of stuff that I've been watching. If anybody wants to be part of the conversation, oh, you're saying stuff back there. Sorry about that. Usually I see the little red thing because there's a little red thing that pops up when someone says something. Anyway, we'll see if anybody shows up tonight. There might be all kinds of super important things going on in the world that people are doing instead of watching this chat. But I shouldn't say it that way. Instead of being part of this conversation, but that's fine. We're not solving nothing here. We're just hanging out on a Friday and having a place to do stuff. Let's see. Here we go. That kid just answered my thing or whatever. So I said blah, 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 whatever. And he goes, hey, appreciate you stopping by to compliment, support, and watch my videos. Means a lot more. You know, it's quite difficult to build a following here. Slowly but surely it's happening, and I'm loving it. Great things take time. I'm enjoying the like-minded 2A gun enthusiasts. Thanks again for freedom content. Thanks again, more freedom content coming. Cheers from Ohio. Right on. So I wasn't sure where the kid was at. I got the impression he was somewhere, like, I was thinking like Wyoming or Idaho for some reason. He seemed like he was For some reason, I don't know why the hell I thought that. But now we know it's Ohio, which is basically the same thing as Wyoming, just a little bit different shape. Plus he's got, look at this, 15th of December, 1,400 views. I don't have 1,400 views on like any video this year. So he's getting good coverage, 172 likes on there. That's pretty awesome. I guess I can like him like this channel because this is a different channel. Oh, we got comments over here. Let's see what's going on. So here's what it's like when you do the Daily Gun Show. You flip over to the studio and you go in here. First, you collect the money. Everybody always collects the money. We can show money nowadays. Wait, no, analytics. There it is, boom. 34 bucks. That's a sweet 35 bucks coming in. You know where that's all coming from? Is he in here? That's all from what's his face? Garrett. So if you look in here, these videos don't really make money, but let's go to revenue. Like that 14 bucks, that 10 bucks, those are super chats right there. Now it's possible that a video's making $2. It's possible I'm pocketing $2.48 every time I make one of these chats. All I got to do is spend 2 hours in the middle of the night moping and harassing people for not being 2A enough, calling them out for being slackers and fakes and shit, and then boom, $3 rolls in, suckers. Anyway, what was I coming in here for? I was coming here for something actually to do something, wasn't I?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was. I was coming in here to look at my comments because I had comments over here. I don't go to this channel very often. So here's this dude DJ saying something, so I thumbed that up. But then I got to go down here. Oh no, that's him. Usually when I see these little blue numbers like that, that's somebody going whatever the little number they feel like putting in, and then they go, I got a free gun on Instagram. Just follow this account or whatever. Or like I got like they always have some weird name for a gun. Like I found a safe gun. I found an easy gun on Instagram. So like I get a shit ton of those kind of weird spams. That looked like it. That's why I came in here. But it wasn't. It was just DJ. So now we'll get the hell out of here because I don't really go into that account very often. Boom.
I was gonna go back to what you were saying earlier while I was backstage. I have seen Lead Therapy. He, I think, started getting a lot bigger after he made a couple series of videos about being visited by the ATF because apparently he was buying these old German revolvers that really aren't worth diddly. And from what I understand, he had sold one to somebody in a private sale, and then it ended up being used in commission of a crime. So then, ATF comes back knocking on his door, and there's a whole fiasco about it. But since then, it seems like he's been popping up more. When I found him, he had a couple thousand subscribers now. I think he's up to 14 or 15. And the Tampa carry, is he putting out new videos? Because I thought he was kind of like a dead channel. Like I was finding his stuff, but it was all years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been messing with my logarithm a lot. So that could totally be, and I just didn't even realize. But mainly because there's another one called Florida something, and that one.
Hey, what's up, guy?
4 hours ago, 6 hours ago, 10 hours ago, 3 hours ago. It's basically Matt's channel, but I don't know if it's fake or what. But it's from 2016, so that's I don't know. It's basically Matt's channel. Discovered most of them, not all the ones I watch now. The good news is, that's interesting to know, thanks. The good news is Chris saying that once you found out from Yankee or something that this show's over here, I know I said this before, but since I started listening to your channel, I discovered most, if not all, the ones I watch now. Yeah, that's interesting. I appreciate it, and you're not missing nothing because the channels that existed back in the day pretty much sucked. I mean, they didn't do anything. They just sat around doing this. Literally, whatever. Like I get frustrated because I'm hearing the same conversation. So whatever you're watching and seeing, and every chat you're watching today, except for obviously the names of the guns change because change. You know, we're talking about current guns all the time, but the conversations themselves are exactly the same. Carbon copies. Oh, I don't know, 4 times now, 5 times now since we've had live chat. I mean, they were different on the forums. I don't know how many people are around since the forums, but since internet, I mean, since YouTube and the Hangouts, since so basically 2012, we're probably on like the fourth or fifth, depending on who you count and how you count the waves of evolutions of communities, like people come and go. But so yeah, so that's interesting, and I would say although the conversation stays the same, it does develop. I mean, I'm mopey, but it does develop, and it evolves a little bit, but it develops. I mean, it gets better and faster, obviously, and people get aware of stuff quicker. So the conversation happens more efficiently, I guess. Just not robot-like efficiently yet. Anyway, that's interesting. So thanks for the feedback on those channels. I don't know. Maybe. Oh wait. Oh, you know what? I know exactly why it is. I was doing something today. Oh, researching all these damn stocks over here. And that got me to frustration. I had to go look at videos, which I don't like to do because F videos. But a couple of things, I don't know what's going on with the internet. The internet started wigging on me. It was only showing me stuff for sale. Like I would type in one of these braces and it would only show me the sites that were for sale, as opposed to a blog post that was talking about seeing it at SHOT Show, or somebody's just website that was talking about something else and they used that gun. That's what I was looking for, is just kind of other conversations and not just a sales pitch for the thing. And all I was getting was basically shopping carts of all different kinds. And I suspect it's because it's a non-NFA item. So you can it's like having a, rock or something. You can have them on any store anywhere. And they must have, a lot of people are buying these things. So they're just all over the place on stores. And that's what's getting all the coverage. Anyway, so whenever I was doing that, I had to go over to videos to try to find out some data points. And that probably messed with the thing, because I started seeing like just some of the giant channels. I mean, people rage about blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it, like channels on YouTube that are big or that are gun channels or whatever. But they're not anywhere near as big as the big channels that are on YouTube. Like the ones that we talk about always are under 1 million subs for the most part. There's channels out there that I haven't paid attention in a while. That's why I was looking, I guess. There's some channels out there with 9 million subs. Can you imagine? 9 million subs shooting guns, 100%. And that's all they do is shoot guns. 9 million subs. Not a freaking word. Not a freaking word about anything about the right to shoot them guns. Just shooting the guns. No attention paid at all to anything else except the fact that they're shooting guns. Really good videos. Really good cameras. Frustrating though. So anyway, that's probably why I started seeing a bunch of different YouTube channels on my YouTube crawl or feed or whatever I want to call it. All right, I'm done talking. Anything else tonight? Or we have a short show?
I went to my FFL today to pick something up. Something that has we can actually reference in a discussion about 1968. It was a response to that. Got a Lorson L22 from the guy who bought it new, and it looks it. He said that he took it to the range once and came in a box, $50 in shipping. I was super pleased. Still chasing after all the Ring of Fires, G.
Yeah, that one's the bastard child of them. It's there's a couple that are, the Ring of Fire is the name for the ones that were in the perimeter of Los Angeles specifically, not just Saturday Night Specials, but the ones from LA. So when you give them that definition, that ring around LA, there's a couple that are outliers that aren't really in a ring, or maybe they were in LA, but they shouldn't be in the list or something like that. And one of them is not in the ring because it's way up north. It's nowhere near the other ones, but because it's still in California and kind of near LA, they count it. And then like a couple of them, like I say, were not really the same family. One, most of them from California, those Ring of Fire guns, was the dad, the son, the daughter, a nephew, the son-in-law, and from the son, like the daughter and his son, I guess. And then those companies became the companies that exist today. So most all of that stuff, the family tree, all comes from one guy and all goes to whatever we have today, except for AMT, which had nothing to do with anything. It was just some stainless steel guns that were just minding their business, and they called them out because they were standing there next to them and they looked similar to people that were idiots that couldn't tell the difference between Zamek and stainless steel. So AMT got put into that mix officially, even though they have nothing to do with any of the other stuff, and no one in their right mind would associate them other than the technical fact that they're in the publications listed as one of them from the asshole that created it, this one doctor in LA. So the other outliers are, like I say, the nephew, basically, is the one that's way north of LA. That's the nephew of the grandfather. And then the Lorson, the one you're talking about, it is Ring of Fire. And it's in the Ring of Fire physically also. The problem is that the main group was the dad who made the 25 ACP. The son took the same gun and just made it smaller in 22. The daughter took the same gun and made it bigger in 32 and 380. So they were all making the same gun, just the son was making it smaller. The grandpa was making it the same size as it started at, which is the size of the Browning, pocket Browning. And then the daughter was making a larger one with her husband, the son-in-law. And then they were also making Derringers, and that's Cobra or Davis originally. So originally everybody was sort of in harmony. All these guns were getting sold in by the hundreds of thousands, I think millions eventually, or they would end up being sold in the millions. And then Lorson was a guy that knew the son from high school, and he's seen this all happening, and he's kind of they're not very, couple of them are not good people, and Lorson is one of them. Jennings is the other one, the son. So the son is making the 22s, and his dad's making the 25s, and his sister's making the 32s and 380s with her husband. And the kid, this friend from high school, or somebody they knew from high school, is watching this all happen, and he's like, well, if I make all of them, then I'm like all of them, right? I'll be the alternative to all of them. And if you look at them, all of theirs from Raven and Jennings and Davis, they all look the same kind of, because they weren't competing with each other. All they were doing is making them in different calibers, and they were all literally in the same family. So they weren't trying to make them drastically different necessarily, and they really didn't put any attention into, you've seen them, they don't look fancy or nothing. Where Lorson, probably for copyright or just to be weird, made them look stupid as hell. He made them look weird. Like they're the weirdest looking guns ever, right? Like they look like, I don't know what the hell they look like. European BB guns or something. Like they look weird. So they got just extra flabs and flanges and shit that they don't need, and all kinds of ridges and shit that are just, I don't know, like I say, they're probably made to physically, he could claim they were not ripping off his friends or these other people across town. And then, so that guy goes into business, and I've been to all the factories, and his business was basically kind of just south of this like shitty highway industrial area, and nothing fancy at all, just some industrial space. I don't think he was there very often. He had all kinds of different sticks in the fire, you could say. He was all over the place, from what I understand. And anyway, the people that were running that factory were not scrupulous, and many, depending on who you talk to, many guns left that factory without serial numbers on it, which, in other words, as they were creating them, the people would just steal them as they were being built and take them home or sell them or whatever they did. And the ATF, you know how the ATF is, they let guns go to Mexico years later. So were they paying attention to that? Were they stopping it? Were they just watching so they could complain about it? Who knows? It all depends on the individuals, I suppose. And I've never seen any research into that, so I'm just speculating there. But basically, we know that there is no way to know how many guns left that factory without serial numbers. So that means there's Lorsons out there without serial numbers, that are Lorsons that exist. You know, every other way they're the complete gun. It's just that they never stuck them through the machine to get a serial number. And that doesn't happen very often because most manufacturers give a shit. This guy didn't. and that gives a black eye on the industry and on the company, but definitely on the Ring of Fires. Now, the other ones weren't necessarily great human beings. They were making a product that made the money, and like I say, the Sun was a complete the worst kind of human being that can exist. Literally, one of the worst human beings on the planet. But what the fuck? We're still gonna what are we gonna ignore his history because he's basically Hitler? Like he was an asshole motherfucker. He was the worst kind of people. But he was doing what he was doing, and we have to acknowledge that they exist. So those Larsons are interesting, but they're kind of that weird love-hate. They ruined the Ring of Fire for sure because of his behavior and what happened with all those guns. And they didn't all stay in this country. People that think they just went out in the streets is crazy. That's the kind of shit that went to other CIAs, right? Like other countries that need unserialized guns that there's no way to trace. Like those had probably been all around the world. So he also invented 2 different companies to make polymer guns that would just break. And this was at the time when Keltec wasn't even Keltec yet. They weren't even nuts. They weren't even born yet. Grendel wasn't even born yet. Kel Grin, the guy from Keltec, was still making his submachine gun in Switzerland or Sweden or whatever out of plastic when these guys from Ring of Fire, the son-in-law who made the 32s with the daughter, made a company, I forget, Standard or something, and made a 45 out of plastic because he's like, fuck it, let's just make the first plastic semi-auto out of 45 right off the bat. Right. And then because that's how much people hated 9mm back in the real days. And then Larson makes his out of 9mm and they still broke. So plastic just wasn't there yet. They were making it out of the kind of plastic you'd make a VCR tape out of, I think. It wasn't the kind of plastic that was strong enough to do what we're doing. Block didn't exist yet. So he did some interesting shit, but he's a dick. And he screwed around. So I only own 1 Larson, and I've passed on a bunch because they're almost always broken too. They weren't. They're all bad guns. None of them are good guns. None of like any of the brands, but theirs are specifically like that guy gave no shit about it, his reputation or nothing. He was literally just doing it. Probably, I'm assuming, he figured he could do it as long as he could do it, and then move on. But you can find Larsons in every caliber. You can't find every other. Like you can only find 25 ACP Ravens. Like there's only that caliber. You can only find 32 and 380 Davises. There is no other calibers. There's only 22s Jennings, and then Larsons. You can get everything from every caliber basically. I think they probably make 45. But for $50, you got.
Yeah, $50 and she's clean. I have no reason to disbelieve that this guy. He might have even cleaned it after he shot it at the range that one time, kind of thing. It's beauty. So yeah.
Oh, well, then it's probably not broken.
No, well, I haven't shot it, but I've cycled it and went through. It's just too clean. Yeah. Well, I disassembled it, but didn't completely break it down. So.
Basically, their firing pins are like the spring that's in a big pen, right? And then imagine the spring that's in a big pen. If you made like a shroud around it or some sort of if you wrapped the spring of a big pen in I don't know, not foil, but like not aluminum can thickness either. But if you wrapped the end of it's sort of like what am I trying to think of? What else do we have like that? It's not really a D10 because it doesn't go inside the spring, but it wraps the spring. Anyway, your firing pin, what am I thinking? The firing pin is a solid thing that's inside of that spring. Some of the other ones had a cup. There's a cup on the other end. Anyway, what I'm getting at is the firing pin is basically a spring and a little rod. And almost everybody gets them guns because they don't know nothing, right? They don't buy a $50. At retail, they were probably 90 or something. I think they sold for 20. They were set 25 coming out of the factory. They cost them $7 to make, and stores got them for 25, sold them for 75 or something like that. So you know what I'm saying? Like most people that are buying that don't know how to treat a gun and aren't gun people. So they buy them and they just start cranking the trigger. And the only way to make the trigger make a noise again is to keep racking it. So what you get is these guns never get actually fired because no one is going to shoot them. They don't go to the range. They don't know what that is, right? They don't go recreationally shoot. So they just maybe sometimes load them, maybe sometimes don't, but then they end up racking them and shooting them like a billion times. So what happens is firing pins wear out. They're not made to be shot that much, period, let alone dry fired all the time and then just put away all the time without being inspected or anything. So it is possible to pick one up that looks great and then find out that,
Yeah.
those are just ceramic. So they're not made out of like the material to last through time or anything.
The cup arrangement that you're talking about, so it's spring, pin, cup at the rear. That the Larson has that, and yeah, in 22s, there I have only had two, and not just in Larson's because this is my first, but in other ones with that same arrangement, the pins are either broken or just bent, and you cannot. There's no straightening them out because as soon as you roll it back, it's just pink drop. It just kicks off. At least they're still out there in good numbers, and they're not expensive. But yeah, everything is just so fiddle fart, fidgety, and crap material. But I dig them.
So, first of all, I was saying, you think people are going to buy braces for the free SBR stamp? And I don't really think so. I just typed hard to know because it was easier than just saying no. But if you want to buy an SBR, it would make sense, free stamp and expedited background check. But that's the thing. You're getting a braced. They're going to say that a braced pistol, it sounds to me, and I'm not saying I've read the thing, I'm only going off of the conversations we've had for the couple of days now. It sounds to me that they're creating another, let's say, level or definition, and they're going to say that definition, guns that meet that definition need to be registered, and they're going to let you have that for free. So it's not like if you put a stock on it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, you can just have an SBR for free. At least that's not how I read it. And it's because it's not like they're saying, hey, we're going to be tyrannical, so real quick, hurry up and do your thing before we be tyrannical. If you read the thing, it says it's really difficult to regulate these things, and this is how we're going to try to regulate them. Therefore, and I don't know, if you get sick of listening to therefores and wherewithals like I do, people just get sick of reading it, I guess, and go, they're coming to get us. Or whatever. So I don't think that it's an issue. I really don't think it's an issue. Right now, we got 14 days. Now, if we don't do anything for 14 days, no, and I say it's not an issue, I don't mean ever, obviously. So if 14 days we don't do crap as a group and and they are able to do whatever they want, that's a different story. But right now, that hasn't happened. But I definitely don't read it that you get to just put a stock on a pistol. But we'll know more. We kind of had a chat. Was that last night? Like I said, I only had 3 hours to sleep here, so I'm kind of slipping into whatever the hell time of day. I know it's Friday, so right. But I'm forgetting when the hell I've been chatting most of this time. So I'm just forgetting when Walt and everybody, I think that was this chat yesterday, we came up with the idea of getting together on Monday and writing letters. And I think that was 2 days ago? Anyway, I think when we talked about getting together to write letters, that was more like just in general, not necessarily ATF, what's the word, opinion responses, was it? Or was it?
No, it was.
Okay, so then I'm right. So yeah, we're going to get together on Monday, and that gives us enough time to each read it, right? So, oh no, there's homework for the Civil War. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought we could just play online. So read the thing so that we all come at it with some sort of awareness, and then we're going to spend some time hashing it out without wasting a bunch of time. I mean, it isn't like we're going to solve this anyway, but we can come up with some way, hopefully spend some time collaborating. Remember, I got to keep remembering, there's a lot of new people that haven't seen all the failures we've had in the past with collaborations. There's a hell of a lot of lazy people that act like they're ready to work until it comes time to work, and then you got to deal with them backpedaling in front of everybody, as it times to step on the plane is, and they're like, oh, you know what, I totally forgot about my dryer, and I can't leave the dryer sheets in the dryer, it might cause, and you have to listen to that kind of shit. anyway, so we're going to get together, collaborate, and come up with a couple of different. I think the idea is I'm just going to keep making this up as I go along, I guess, but make up a couple of letters or some approaches to letters, and then offer those so that people have something more than just write a letter, right? Or we can say here, try writing some of these ideas of letters, or evolve these out, and see where it goes from there. But I thought we were talking about writing representatives, because we were saying by doing it on Monday, the letters would go through. Not so much the ATF letter, wouldn't matter what time we did it, because that's just going to some database somewhere.
That was when we were talking about that portion. We're just talking about the overall idea of doing this on a regular basis and when we would actually meet or whatnot. And we're kicking around like
I confused
Sundays.
So that's something that we'll do, and then we'll know more. So I guess the original thing was, do you think people are buying braces for the free SBR stamp? I really don't think so, because like I say, I'm not sure, but I really don't think so because of my quick reading or interpretation of it. But we'll know more after we read the thing. Let's see. So one of the projects I sent an email out about like 2 days ago, and I haven't got any reply from it. So since I haven't gotten any reply from that project, I'll probably just read the damn thing for anybody that doesn't want to read it or doesn't have time. So you can listen to my poor version of an audio version of it. I'll try to do that tomorrow, I suppose. It's easy enough. It probably won't take 5-10 minutes. It's only paragraphs long, I think, right?
The thing is, I don't think it's going to be an SBR stamp either. From what I heard, it's actually going to be a stamp for having a braced pistol or something of that nature, which brings up the other issue that the ATF is just getting to arbitrarily add something to the NFA.
Yeah. Well, whatever. We make them do it. They're not arbitrarily doing it. No. So no. They have a job to do, and when things change, they have to adapt and do their job. So we're going to say, do your job like it's 1934. Like, that's unrealistic. They can't do that. There's different things that exist. So what about firearms? Others. We didn't care when they turned that into others, and that's all they're doing. So they're clarifying, and I don't know if that's creating a new thing or not. That's one of the things that if someone is able, that's something that can be dug into this weekend. I started digging into this because I wanted to find out 3 things. Do I have them colored on here? I guess I don't on here. If I go to here, though, and go to basically here and down to firearms law and pistol braces, I basically wanted to figure out when we knew that the first one was in 2012. They said, yeah, go ahead and do it. But then it was in 2014 that they go, you know what? Don't hold it up to your shoulder, right? And then in 2015, they're like, you know what? It's illegal if you hold it up to your shoulder. And that was days before SHOT Show. So I just remember those from living through them. And then I know, because I could go, it was annoying and, we were upset, but we just had grassroots stuff happen in 2013 like you'd never seen before. Do you understand the stress and the frustration and the concern that people have right now? Imagine what it was like when Obama was president. Sandy Hook had happened weeks before, and the sympathy and focus of the entire country was on getting rid of AR-15s. You imagine that? You were there. I don't know if you were doing stuff. If you lived in this country, you lived through that. It wasn't that long ago. It was 8 years ago. When that happened, though, and on 2014, when we came up the other side, the reason Every Second Matters exists, the reason I turned into what I did instead of being a fucking another suit or fucking whatever, is because people went, oh, all right, now let's go back to wherever the fuck we were doing before this awful stuff happened. And we ignored it instead of, I don't know, doing any other number of things we could have done. And that was frustrating to see, just amazing amount of resistance happen, not in any kind of violent way, that's foolish, but in the actual natural way that a bunch of people who give a shit get together and you don't even have to look at each other and nod. You just all do. And then afterwards, when you're all wiping the sweat off of your brow, you look around and go, oh shit, everybody did what I just did. That's what happened in 2014. Like that, except the last time in 2013, at the end of 2013. And we saw that our rooms were emptying, that people were not showing up because there was nothing else to fight, I mean, which is fine. We just got done fighting a fire. Like, go home, enjoy the rest of your, weekend with the family or whatever. Problem is, nobody came back to ever practice firefighting again. We had an exercise of strength and show of force, whatever you want to call that we never had before. And everybody just went home, didn't even appreciate it. And because there was nothing to gain, I suspect, I shouldn't say that. That's bullshit communist shit thinking. Because no one had already done it before and there wasn't an established path to show, okay, once you work hard, you don't forget it. You sit down and you have an after action, not with everybody, and you don't require it, but you say, hey, those who are interested, let's get together on a regular basis and make it so that the next time we have to do this, because we all know full and well we're going to have to do this again, we don't have to start from scratch and rebuild every fucking bridge and every mousetrap and every wheel, so that we can at least start off with some remembrance and some direction from what we did before. Even if it doesn't apply, at least we have some structure so that we're not starting from scratch, so that we're not the vulnerable, weak, ambush victim. Anyway, so that was back in the day, and got into that rant. I started this whole thing because I wanted to see, I remember all that part. I wanted to see when this approval letter came in, when this other approval came in that said, no, you can't. And then I knew that at some point, because like I guess I was saying, I lost interest. At this point, there was just so much other stuff going on that it was neat. And I knew that from 2012, we were creating precedents. And if you go back, I challenge you to watch some chats from 2012, because there's live chats. I chat probably more then than I do now even, because there was still YouTube money rolling in back then. I was saying this is creating precedents. If nothing else, it's fun to have these braces and stuff, but every single day that goes by, I can remember saying every single day that goes by, because we'd already lived this with constitutional carry in Arizona since 2000 to July 31st of 2010. They said there was going to be blood on the streets. In 2010, January 31st, no one had to have any kind of permit to carry a gun any kind of way they wanted. If you were legal to own a gun, you carried it how you want. And the lack of any violence, the lack of any horrible consequence there, allowed other states to take that lead. So, right, I knew that this was creating precedents, and that was awesome. But beyond that, I wasn't buying a brace. I don't have AR-15 pistols, and just wasn't, wasn't digging into that freedom, right? I was trying to do other things and stuff. So when these things happened, I knew this one happened, because this happened right in front of our face as SHOT Show was happening. But when the next letter came out that said, you know what, you can shoulder it again. It's not a big deal. That was ridiculous. The act of moving it to your shoulder is not manufacturing, and it would be impossible, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what their justification was, because I just went, okay, good. That's good to hear, So now we've got 5 years of precedent. We've had a little challenge to it. That's got to be on the good side, right? Whenever there's precedent that's challenged and kept, right? It's kept its challenge. It succeeded. It's whatever the word is, like it won the challenge. That's not got to be awesome, right? So then we keep going, and then in 2019, barely even made news. They come out and go, just to make everybody sure, just so everybody knows, yeah, you can shoulder that thing. It's no big deal. And then bam, like you start to see a bunch of them start to come out, and that's because I haven't finished this, but I suspect some of these ones that I haven't figured out, you can see it over here a little easier. Boom, like you start to see a lot more types of them come out, and a lot more of them coming out once we got that decision that kind of said, that's our final memorandum, until we got this one. So when you read it, it's basically saying, wow, this has been a doozy, given the devil's advocate for the effing ATF here, not wanting any of it. But, hey, it's been a pain in the ass to try to do this. We're going to come up with some crazy ass solutions to this. So what do you think? And then they're asking us, what do you think for 14 days? So like I say, that's where go watch any of the chats from earlier, and I'll tell you what I think about that. But I think that's where we're at. I don't think the ATF is saying, hey, we want to infringe, and this is the way we figure we can do it. And what's face it was cool. So, you got to you can just fill out some paperwork and we're going to pass you on the $200, and then yeah, you can put vert grips on there and lights. I don't think it's like that. I think it's way scarier than that. They ain't doing nothing to help us out. There ain't no like, hey, we're under this crazy burden. We want to make sure everybody gets a bunch of SBRs cheap. I don't see that happening. But yeah, there's a lot of angles, and I think that it's in the past. Like I say, this isn't the first time we've dealt with this. Different levels of significance. People have debated, and sometimes, required, or oh, you gotta take this opinion. If you don't agree that this is the direction or this is the tact to take to address this, then yeah, I'm gonna go take my support and go elsewhere. And I imagine that'll happen this time, but I don't know. I think that we don't succeed. Because we haven't succeeded enough in the past, I suspect that just that alone isn't going to work. Like that's experimental, and I don't think we need to experiment. So anyway, going after it with more than one angle with these letters, and going after them with, what gives you the right to make this decision is one tact, but like, what are you going to do about American with Disabilities Act situations is another tact. Like another tact is you say that you can't use it on a heavy pistol, but what if someone has name a shaky disease and it doesn't matter about the weight, it's just the grip strength? Or what if the person has name an issue with grip strength and it doesn't matter the weight of the pistol, right? So in other words, one of the issues I saw in there was that they're going to complain about a little gun having a brace, that a little gun doesn't need a brace. They're also saying a big fat heavy gun doesn't need a brace because that's too heavy. So like I say, it seems like we've got so many angles, and since we aren't required to send one letter in, we could come up with, hey, come at it. You could come at it from this 16 different directions. And if everyone who participates takes a piece of that and spreads it around, and people understand that there's creative ways that we can apply all the skills and tech that we got to this, then if nothing else, we exercise that facet of our eternal vigilance, right? Like we got to do this kind of stuff. Otherwise, nobody else is going to do it for us. Otherwise, we watch the opposite happen, I guess. But anyway, I don't really feel like just sitting here and chatting all night, which is what I've been doing. Walt says he's not jumping in. He's not 2A anymore. Clover's not 2A, even though he was in Pocket of Big Gear websites earlier. He must have gone to sleep. The issue, we already talked about that one. He's complaining about how he's not 2A. And then first of all, saying I think the best bet in the future is to break the NFA is to go after it as a tax thing. It's idiotic to not paying a $200 tax that results in 10 years, 250. Yeah. I don't know where the 250 comes from. I always thought it was 10,000, but I have no idea, but I definitely agree with you. And I think that's the whole, what's it called? The interstate commerce. It relies on that, but I don't know. That's one of those things I think lawyers are scared to go after because it's too pivotal or too big. Anyway, you guys want to say anything? Talk myself out, like I say, I'm tired.
Yeah, I was going to lay up and take a rest, and then Gizzard Gary happened, and then dinner needed to happen. But yeah, today was a pretty a rich tapestry of chats, and I was glad to be around for a bunch of them. And I actually did something on Discord that I had not done yet until tonight. I did live video chatting, but I didn't participate in the video portion so much. I was just resting the eyes and listening, but there were some pretty good conversations going on. And
they can't be. Here's why. Because whatever's said on there is only a recollection. All you can possibly do is try to remember the totality of what was said there because it's not recorded. So the best you can possibly get out of Discord is the memory that something interesting happened. But since nothing's actually recorded or written down, isn't it effectively jollies? I don't know. I'm being because I hate Discord so much.
Right on. I guess, I mean, I suppose in that regard, it's a little bit more ephemeral, but not really. Because I think that, most people, the takeaways happen as takeaways from a live event more than they do doubling back and double checking what someone said in the comments against the timestamp in your response 5 minutes later or something like that. So, I mean, I think it's equally as visceral at the time, but yeah, as far as record goes, you do have to rely on, well, in my case, a failing memory. Uh, but well, I guess it was I got to see how part of the other, and it's not the other half, but how another portion goes about having those kind of discussions right now. And so that was at least illuminating. I enjoyed it.
We continue to rage against Discord. I also am trying to work on this thing, and it's getting to be frustrating as hell because I'm sick of wasting this much time, and I don't know if it's even worth it. Like I say, I had started to do it because I wanted to know those 4 things and how they fit into it. And then as I started to discover more, it was like, oh, okay, there's like this, and then there's this, and then by the time I knew it, I'm like, I might as well just finish because I'm down to having these 4 in the list. So what I'm getting at here is that this list on the left here is everything I've discovered so far. These are also stocks. These are also braces that are created by SB. I just don't know when because it's been increasingly difficult to figure out when the heck these things came to the market. All I can find is stores that sell them, not reviews like, hey, I just saw this thing, at the 2018 trade show of some sort or something like that. So
Would you maybe able to find it by the tax record they have in their home state?
I'm not Quincy, so I don't fucking know. I'm trying to just do some internet research. So yeah, I'm not finding it on DuckDuckGo or whatever. But if anybody happens to own them, I've asked a couple of people I know that buy shit like this, but I guess they're too busy to be able to answer me in the middle of the night. Don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to answer me or whatever. But I was just going to say, if anybody out here, well, I guess it's just us, but if anybody happens to be watching, swinging by your way to the other chat, then ask somebody over there if they know when these 4 chats or when these 4 races. I really just need to know the year, just because I'd rather not have them hanging out here in limbo when I could easily jam them, somewhere in this hierarchy according to when they actually came. With that, I'm shutting this screen down. Plumber's out of here, hitting the rack. It's 1 a.m. here. You need to get some sleep. Hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, I hope you're doing good over there, kicking ass and doing your thing. I'm right, it's 10,000. Oh, 10 years or $10,000. Okay. The thing is, it's 10,000 per offense, so it could easily rack up to 250, like easy. Like if you could just, I mean, one gun can probably get you to 250 if you did 5 legal things to it. Right, in the wrong state. Well, I guess in any state, federal. Anyway, so we got another couple of days, and Walt's out there. I don't know if Walt. This has been a pretty disorganized show. I feel it falling apart. But whenever I was in some other chat earlier and on Instagram, I've been letting people know that on Monday we're planning to get together. So it seems like it's been received well. I haven't seen anyone in the past years do that. So maybe we hit something that the group that we hang out with hasn't done before, and maybe we'll get some participation and, like, say, collaboration between multiple peoples means we'll get an interesting result or final product that isn't just one-sided or what. Anyway, so if anybody's got anything else, I'll wait for a little bit of lag on the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up in about an hour, I guess. Probably getting corked, so I'll blame it on no participation because of corking. These guys are watching. What? When I go to chats during the day, barbecue's all like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let me wave this out. Oh, I got a topic. Here you go. Oh, here, let me bring out this whole big toolbox of stuff that I can bring out. Oh, yeah. Oh, then let me carry the thing for a while. Yeah, here, you go on break, Gary. You just go in the back room and sit down and lay down for a while. I'll just run the show for a while. On this show, he just sits down, clocks in, goes in the back room, starts smoking cigarettes.
Yep. That's because those shows aren't two-way enough.
No, you're two-way for those shows. Yeah, exactly. They are not two-way enough, so you got to do all the two-way in those shows. I hear it. I know how that is.
And then I come here and I'm like, man, I need to get more two-way still.
I guess that works. All right, you parlayed yourself out of that one. Well done. Green Dragon chats. Right on. Well, if you've never experienced one of them, go check that out. That's something. And anything else?
No, I got homework to go do. I'm gonna have to figure out how to start using my screen reader. That way I can get this Descent from the ATF read before Monday.
Well, like I say, I'm gonna read that thing tomorrow live. For whoever.
Oh, okay.
I guess for the lazy and the people that don't want to read it. And then I don't know, so it can be played in the future, I guess, on loudspeakers.
Well, that will definitely go into my two-way from others playlist.
Two-way from others?
No, 2A from others.
Oh. It's like, dang, you got a whole playlist just for moms?
Yep. Gotta show love to them.
So, all right, I'll show you. So, I guess that's it. Nobody's saying anything else. Ursula's been active. If you want to jump in, I'll throw the link out there. I don't know if Pink's out there. Every once in a while, he'll jump into the off air. But I don't know how long the off air will go tonight. I'm getting tired. But I'm also super frustrated that this effing project over here has been taking too long. I also keep jumping out and going into chats, so that's not helping nothing, I suppose. But yeah, well, there's the end of the leg. So with that,